because of theatre of witness and because of how it has enabled us to see our own worth and our own strengths and empowered us as people. We both know that before this experience we probably wouldn't have been able to get up and talk in front of audiences or even get up and tell our truths, but the whole experience got us through that. That now we're a lot more open to talking we do workshops with youth, workshops with community groups. We talk to groups from America, groups from other countries. You've spoken in Brussels. I've spoken in Utrecht in London. We've worked with other members of the productions, and we use this a lot, the analogy of the pebble in the pond, that we're now, somebody has dropped a pebble and we were the ripples. Now we've become the pebbles, and we're hoping that what we say to each other, how we react with each other, how we work with each other, how we speak about our past and what we've done, is then the ripples. It'll create more pebbles for ripples, and it'll outreach and keep on going. And we've seen that working with some people that we've worked with through the Warrington Peace Centre, through dialogue, shared story experiences, conflict resolution, living with trauma days, and yourself, James.
Well, first of all, to your audience, or to whoever's watching this, I would like to say that the concept of theatre witness was brought to Northern Ireland by a lady from Pennsylvania and Philadelphia, and the state, but I remember being fairly sceptical about this at the time, and then one day after she had interviewed me and all the rest of it, and I'd sort of come through that part of the process, she says, there's a couple of DVDs, she says, could you take them away and watch them? And what they were was guys who were imprisoned at probably the same age as I was. They were imprisoned when they were 17, 18 years old, for murders, that weren't some, murder's a terrible word, and I know somebody loses their life, the tragedy of that and all the rest of it, but murder to me is a very specific crime, and it's pre-planned, and it's all the rest of it. A lot of it was less than manslaughter, in all honesty. But nevertheless, these guys ended up, and she was given them, like she always used to say, the medicines and the story, and these guys were encouraged to do this in prison, guys who never would be on stage and never would have seen themselves as anything like actors, you know what I mean? But she managed to inspire them to the point where they would get up and say their truth in front of their fellow prisoners and family members and one thing and another. And the honesty of that was something that struck me very deeply, and I think inspired me to want more. Because at that point I had learned that this was going to be a stage production. And I had a deal. I think she very cleverly let me see this, and let me see that if these guys who were prisoners could overcome their fears and their apprehensions in regard to that, if it was possible for them, it was possible for me. What was the difference? You know what I mean? So she maybe thought to herself, I will empower him, and very cleverly let him empower himself. I will let him see this, and he will get the strength from this to move on. She's a pretty clever lady in that respect, you know what I mean? The audiences, from point of view that when we were on stage and did our performances, what some of the things that really resonated with me with some of the things that people said that that changed their lives. That Colin Kavanagh said, this is open heart surgery on Derry. This is one of the most inspiring pieces of work I've ever witnessed. A man stands up and says, this is James, the face of the UDA, who put my family out of their home and burned their house to the ground, and I now see him as a human face of the UDA. Is he a monster? I don't know. That is yet to be decided. And we will work it. And actually we did. I've met on several occasions after that and have managed to form some kind of a connection, and a relationship. Other people going away and saying this needs to become an educational tool, this has to go into schools, this has to be a source of goodwill and learning for younger kids, who can live side by side with other people in our communities and learn that there's no difference in any of us. The people we come from this class, there's absolutely no difference, And realising that, and realising there's a lot of strength and knowing that,
And I find that being on stage and having bonded with people that you wouldn't normally be in the same room as, or going to do a way to talk to, having done that over the months and then show it on stage to 14 different audiences all over the north and south, that people felt compelled to come and tell us their truths afterwards. People felt compelled to open up, compelled to want more, to know how to do or reach that place that we had reached on stage, working with people that we would never normally work with, interacting with people we'd never normally work with, and people could see the relationship on stage. It wouldn't have worked if there hadn't been a relationship between the people that were together in any of the productions, and people recognised that relationship as well, and that was breaking down barriers in itself, that people seen that ex-combatants could work with police, could work with victims, could work with, or could be in the same situation and speak openly and truthfully. And
I think you're right. I think a lot of people, when just thinking back to a couple of occasions where people in the audience spoke out and said, not in so many words, but that this has inspired me. I want to be a part of this.
Yeah. And they wanted more.
They may have phrased it slightly differently from that, but that's essentially what they're saying. This has given me, this has empowered me to speak out, and I want my story here.